Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. Hey, over the years, as we enjoy watching Christmas movies, has the moral of the story got lost in the translation? I say yes. Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section. All comments are welcome. Well, over the years, and I want to talk about these three movies right here. And let me just say, yes, they are older movies. But these are movies that each have distinct moral messages, or at least they're supposed to. And a couple of them, I'm actually kind of confused. And certainly, what has happened, and from a Christian perspective, that the Christian message has been swallowed up by a Christmas message. But it's gotten even worse over the years because as we watch, this is the picture of Christmas movies today. Think about it, that picturesque pictures where everybody looks the same, everybody has a nice hairdo, everybody hair is always done nice, everybody always wear nice clothes, everybody lives in a picturesque, picture perfect town in their 20 to 30 somethings, and even the grandmas, everybody dressed nice, picture perfect. And even if, and by the way, when the Christmas season is over, these decorations are going to disappear, and you will see that there are other kinds of whatever kind of movies Hallmark make. There is no message here about this other than warm and fuzzy emotions, in my opinion. In other words, what's the point of these movies other than they make tons of money for Hallmark and they make you feel good? And okay, that's okay, but they have no moral message. But these movies do. These movies do. And over the years, they've gotten lost. What is that moral message? Now, I want to talk about these three movies. And as I said, the one is a time honored movie, and the other two, and I'm dating myself, as I said, because they came out some time ago, especially in Hollywood years. And but I want to talk about the message lost. The message lost. Now, these two movies here is where we're going to go because they certainly have lost what moral message that's supposed to get, especially the one on the right, which is the Christian movies. We'll come back to those. In order to understand these two movies, because these two movies were actually adaptations from this movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Um, and It's a Wonderful Life wasn't that great of a movie at the time, meaning this, it came out in 1946. Didn't make tons of money, but over time it just grew to be the kind of Christmas season must. It is a wonderful story that tells a wonderful message. I'm going to question that message in a moment, but let's kind of talk about it because again, it is a good movie. And I'm not here to say we shouldn't watch the movie. It is a wonderful message. Again, pleasant movie to watch. However, the movie starts James Stewart, and he plays um, George Bailey. And you see his wife, played by Donna Reed. Her name is Mary in the movie. And George has a conflict that he has been wrestling with all his life, ever since he was a little boy. His one dream was to leave Bedford's Fall. But through circumstances, he's never been able to leave. First, the war happened, and his father's saving the loan. His father passed away, therefore, who was going to run the business? Well, George. And George makes a decision to let his brother go, and then he stayed and kept the business. Uh, he ends up getting married, and that keeps him in Bedford's Fall. And he ends up helping people. And the ironic thing is that some of the people that he helped, they left. And it seems that everybody around him leaves except him. Over time, he starts to question and really, I guess he kind of thinks, well, how come he cannot go out and see the world? Yada, yada, yada. Okay? But his biggest conflict comes when, I'm going to show you this picture here because this this picture is towards the end of the movie. But however, the guy that you see on the right, probably as you look at the screen, the left, is Uncle Billy. Now, Uncle Billy, he's okay, but he misplaces several thousands of dollars that puts them in jeopardy. And it kind of comes to this man who is Potter. Now, Potter is the villain of the movie. He's also a he's the Scrooge of the meeting of the town, the greedy, uncaring, callous old man who wanted to close down the savings and loans so all the people can come to him. He can charge them all the interest he wants and just be a greedy miser. And the only one who stood between the people and Potter was George Bailey. But when Billy misplaced the money, George finds himself in a very, very dangerous place. Not a dangerous place, but a bad place, because if they don't, he can go to jail for this money. And certainly the savings and loans are going to close down. In a moment of desperate, uh, he goes to Potter and is begging for a loan. Potter laughs him out of his office because Potter's realizing, hey, I'm gonna have the savings and loans, so no, I'm not gonna give you the money. Even though, by the way, the money that Billy misplaced, actually he accidentally puts it in Potter's hand, and Potter doesn't do the right thing by giving it back. With nowhere to go, George finds himself on this bridge. You can't kind of see it probably in the background, but he's standing on a bridge, contemplating throwing himself off of the bridge. What George doesn't realize is that all his life, this man, Clarence, is his guardian angel. And he has been watching George all of his life. And now, at this precise moment, he is there to intercept George from committing suicide. By the way, if he does this, Clarence's reward is that he's going to get his wings, wherever people got that from. So at this moment, Clarence throws himself into the river, and George abandoned his plan to commit suicide and actually dives in and saves Clarence. Later, as they get out and drying, you can see Clarence tells them, "I'm your guardian angel sent from heaven, and I intercepted you from committing suicide." As they talk, George says that, hey, because the things were so bad, life was so bad, my life was so bad, I didn't get a chance to go out and travel the world. I wish I was never born. Upon hearing that, Clarence confers with heaven, and it was decided we're going to give George a glimpse. And he's going to see what his life would be like if he wasn't born. Now, it's important to realize at this moment what the message is then. But the true message is that George doesn't see value in his life. He doesn't see the value that he thinks that the grass is greener on the other side. So he does get a glimpse of his life as if he wasn't born. And what he realizes is that if he wasn't born, how lives potentially could happen for people. For example, his brother would have, let me go to this picture at the end right here, that he goes to this picture here. Now, these are some of the people he has helped. And what he realizes that his brother, as you can see towards your left, that's his younger brother with the Air Force captain hat on, and he's a war hero. The lady that man in the center, uh, he actually saved that man from doing a horrible act of prescribing the wrong prescription that would have killed someone. And the lady in the back that's standing kind of right in back of him with the kind of black fuzzy hat, she's kind of the town floozy, and he even actually helped her get out of town. But anyway, George helps all of these people, and he realizes that, hey, his life is wonderful. He has a wonderful family, wonderful kids. And then, by the way, that money, if you see in the middle right there, unbeknownst to George, while he was contemplating suicide, Mary realized what had happened, found out what had happened. And she went through town and she told everybody that George was in trouble, and they came in droves and they saved the day with that money. And he realizes, hey, I do have a wonderful life. And that's the moral of the story, that he was able to look at his life and say, I do have a wonderful life, that I do have values. And what his regret was wishing that he wasn't born. Clear moral message. This is not a Christian message, by the way. This message is anything but Christian. It's more Catholic. It have themes of purgatory and this, again, crazy notion that we are not children of God, that when we die, that we're going to, in this sense, go to heaven and earn wings and stuff. And you see that it is a salvation by works, doing good deeds, that is very anti-biblical. But the movie does have, again, a strong moral message. Be good no matter what. And that's redeemable, and that's valuable. Now, the next movie is The Family Man. And this movie is a loose adaptation of It's a Wonderful Life. And this is where the message gets totally wrong to me. Now, the movie itself is a very good movie. It actually did very well at the box office, and and it's an enjoyable movie. The movie starts off, as you can look at it, Nicolas Cage, who plays Jack Campbell, and as you can see the picture, his wife, and they show this nice Christmas portrait. His wife, played by Tia Leone, she plays Kate Reynolds. It starts off with Jack and young Kate, fresh out of college, and Jack is getting ready to go overseas for a year internship at a prestigious finance company. But Kate doesn't want him to go. She says that if they go, that they're gonna fall apart, and she's right. Jack goes, and from that point that we see, 13 years later, Jack has moved on big time, and he never comes back to Kate, even though the movie never explores why. In other words, at some point in the movie, we don't know why Jack said, I'm not going back to Kate. But 13 years later, he is a successful millionaire, and as this scene had it, he is on the eve of closing $100 billion deal. He has kept his team over. And one of the things there that they was like, contemplating, some was contemplating being home on Christmas night. And some of these themes here is kind of like, overrated, right? Because as Jack would say in the previous scene, is that, hey, my Christmas gift to you come with a lot of zeros. And while Jack is at first hungry, thirsty for the deal, he's making the money. At this point in the movie, however, it doesn't give any indications of any regrets. Not even the fact that he doesn't marry Kate. His life right now is perfect. He has money. One of the things as the movies, open it up, as he's coming out, you see that Jack stops in his lobby and gives stock tips to the doorman. You give the bottle of scotch to the security guy. You can tell that he gets along with everybody. He loves everybody. And you see, again, this nice corner office. He drives. Now, this scene here, Jack leaves the office after that, and he's going to buy some eggnog. And this guy is his guardian angel. Yeah. This guy is his guardian angel. And this is where, to me, the movie goes in terms of the moral term, the moral message, completely off the rails. This is Cash, and now Cash as a guardian angel, and by the way, we don't know he's a guardian angel at this point in the movie. But he is in this store here, and what happens as he's getting ready to, as he's by the cooler picking up his eggnog, Cash comes in and with a lotto ticket worth $200, over $200, and he's talking, of course, slang. Yo, man, y'all got some, y'all do lotto? Because guess what, man, I got a winner here, man. I wins the lotto, right? And so these guys, the store clerks, like, get out of here, man. Your tickets are fake. We're not gonna pay. And at this point, Cash pulls out a gun. So this thing becomes armed robbery. He terrifies the people in the store. Jack steps in and saves the day. Jack says, hey, I guess what, man? Let me buy the ticket. You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to shoot nobody. You ain't got to rob, whatever. Let me buy the ticket. Cash agrees, okay? And this scene here, Jack is even paying, excuse me, Jack is even paying for the carton of whatever Cash was drinking. He walks out, so he steals. He's a thief. Now this is the angel. Now keep this in mind that this is a guardian angel. So what is the moral here? Okay, so now as Cash is talking to Jack, Jack says, "Hey, gave him the money, right?" But Jack also wants to say, "Hey, you know what? You're kind of going down the wrong path," which he was. Cash laughs. He goes, yo, you trying to save me, man? And he's like, hey, y'all, the world, guess what, man? This dude is trying to save me. Yes, which makes Jack a pretty good guy because you had a gun, you committed armed robbery, and you stole. So Jack is like, hey, give me the gun, and then let's try to get you on the right path. So then Cash says to Jack, well, what do you need, Jack? And Jack says, nothing. And Cash goes, wow, must be great to be you. But let's stop for a minute. Actually, yes, it is great to be Jack. It is. Let me just say, up until this point, Jack has shown himself to be a great guy. He's a millionaire. He is somebody you want to be. Rich. He helps people. He even reaches down, right? He pays it forward. He does all these things. He is a great guy. I don't understand Cash's problem. But Cash seems to have a problem with this and go, well, you remember you brought this on yourself because Jack said he didn't need anything. He go, I'm going to really enjoy this, Jack. Just remember, you brought this on yourself. And here's the thing. Brought what on himself? He has expressed no remorse, no regrets. His life is great. Well, Jack goes home and he wakes up and he goes from driving this to driving that. And his life has changed. He is now a blue collar worker in New Jersey. And it comes to find out that he is married, that he did come back and he married Kate. Now, by the way, this picture here is a more glamorous picture. When you flash to the scene, they are blue collar all the way. They live in a blue collar home, like a Cape Cod home, and it's no big deal. It's just average, and the movie seems to glorify this. And this is my point. It seems to glorify that blue collar. This is where you want to be. That hey, man, what you really want is this. That this is the pinnacle of contentment and serenity. Uh, Not this, right? Not that. And by the way, look at this. Look at Jack's suit, how he's dressed. No, they go the it seems what they're trying to say here is that if you really want happiness, you want this blue collar life. Well, Jack goes through and he does start to realize, hey, you know what? This is his blue collar life, right? Look at the kids he has here, and he's getting his glimpse. Those are his kids, um, and he's realizing, hey, family is what I should have opted for. Family is what I'm missing, even though he doesn't. So Cash finally catches up to him and says, "Oh, you figured out some things, huh, Jack? You really did figure out some things." And he snaps back. But now, watch this. When Jack comes back, Kate has been living in New York. And by the way, it's possible that in the city side of New York, you could not see someone for years. You look, there are people that I have not seen in 30 years. So yeah, and we live in the Chicago area here, and I can tell you yeah. However, so the reason why, remember that scene when he was sitting in his office right here, and this scene right here, that the lady there is his assistant, and she was telling him about a message that Kate had sent Jack saying, "Hey, call me, catch up. I got something for you." And what we kind of find out is that Kate that Kate has this box of his personal stuff. Interesting. For the last 13 years, okay. But this is them back in the reality. Kate never got married. She never had kids. But now he's like, maybe we should do that thing right here. But here's what I want you to point out now. This is back in his reality. Look how he's dressed. Now, Jack has never owned anything like that. At least from the beginning of the picture, we never see that. Where did he even get this kind of stuff that looked like he got it in the thrift store? So again, it seems to move. The message of the movie to me is the values, the moral of the story. I don't see the moral of the story here. I don't see why or what is the point. Jack had it good. Now you see him here, and this is the real Jack. I don't get why. See, I don't get why this is better. Well, the movie goes off where they are kindling they're kindling their relationship again. But now keep in mind, it's not the blue collar life that they're kindling because Jack is still a millionaire. She is a nice career lawyer making good money over six figures. What's the moral of the story here? I don't get it. And I don't get it since especially there was nothing wrong with Jack's life. He wasn't a miser, he wasn't greedy, he wasn't callous. He was doing good for people. Now we come to the Christian movie, and I'm confused most by this. Why? Because this is a Christian movie. Now, this movie is called What If? What If? I'm sorry. And this movie, not much on it, by the way. I couldn't get much on this, so that my photos are limited, and so I'm going to explain this through most of very little we have here. Played by Kevin Saburo and Christine Swanson, and of course the guy there is his guardian angel, and played by John Rittenberger. You might have known him from going way back. Cheers. Okay, now again, keep in mind, I know some of you all may not go, wow, you're really, really going back. Yeah, my thing is the moral message. And even here, like I said, I'm most confused by this because this is a Christian movie. Now, the Christian writers there and the filmmakers decided to basically, this is what they did. I'm going to go back to uh, back to the beginning here, guys. Basically, what the Christian filmmakers did with this movie is basically rip off the Family Man. And when I say rip it off, guys, look, scene by scene, basically is all they did was just it was almost scene by scene. Okay, that they just inserted a Christian kind of theme, which I'll explain in a moment. And I don't get the point. Why? Okay. And again, and by the way, it's even more confusing because notice what he says right here. What if God gave you a second chance? So just like the kind of picture there. Anyway, Christian movies, and I won't say too much about this, but Christian movies, they're just bad oftentimes. Look at the difference of the two promotional pictures here, though. Look at the Family Man. See, the Family Man kind of tells a story, doesn't it? That's this poster here. Here you got Jack looking at the family. This one, okay, whatever this means here. Still don't know what this means. They do have Jack here in this nice little suit, but again, what the heck does it mean, right? Well, it's again, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it because this almost virtually it was the same movie as the Family Man. They just inserted a few little scenes. Not only that, but the location, same location. This film was shot. This film was pretty much shot in Michigan, in the small town, blue collar town of Michigan. Grand Rapids is probably the um, um, the big town. Now, if you look at this picture here, this is kind of they have this. By the way, let me go back because you have the same thing as the Family Man. They start off. He's supposed to go to Bible college, I think, whatever, and for some reason they start off in a bus station where, again, the character of of Christy Swanson. Now, she plays Wendy, and then Kevin plays Ben Walker, and they're standing again in the bus station. She's saying, "Don't go." He goes, but 15 years later, okay, so that's a little minor change. But 15 years later, he is a successful businessman. Now, I'm going to be petty right here. If you look out the window, like I say, I think this was shot in maybe Grand Rapids, and so the high rise there is maybe 6 or 7 stories, and that's their high rise. It's a little okay. All right, I know I'm being petty with this movie here to pick at it. Here's my point. They could have done better. So Ben Walker, again, same thing. He uh, he has a life, and they show him he's a little more selfish though. He's probably a little more self-centered. But again, not a bad guy. He doesn't recognize that he has anything wrong with his life. But then his guardian angel, right in the middle there, with the sunlight shining behind him, steps in. Ben is closing this deal, and he's just bought him a nice Mercedes, convertible Mercedes. He's driving, and all of a sudden, supernaturally, his brand new convertible a Mercedes just stops running. Everything just stops, and then the airbag deploys, and that's the picture you see right there. It knocks his glasses off, and he's wondering what's going on. And then his guardian angel shows up in a tow truck and explains to him, "You're given a glimpse of life. See, what if God gave you a second chance? You're given a glimpse. Why?" And Ben wakes up, and he wakes up the same thing with the Family Man. All these movies go through. He wakes up. Why am I here? I'm shocked, and go through a series of scenes where they have to kind of finally realize, okay, I'm not going out. So now Ben wakes up as a preacher. Now in the Family Man, he wakes up. His life is he's a tire salesman running the business with his father-in-law. But in this reality, Ben is a preacher, and he doesn't know how to preach, and he's figuring out he likes it though that he should have. But understand that Ben doesn't even want to be a preacher. The movie doesn't even bring out that he should have been a preacher. And again, I'm left with what's the point of the movie here? And especially a Christian movie. In other words, the Christians should have just written their own story. Because again, what is the point? That being a country small town preacher is better? It doesn't even say that. In fact, this movie doesn't even bring out that what he's really missing is God's call. It's, like I say, because they attempted to rip off the Family Man, and they go, oh, but we got to put some Christian themes in there. This story, this moral really got lost in the translation. So that's why I say, guys, this is my perspective here, and I just wanted to raise this issue here with some of these movies and this. Look, don't forget to like and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to BP The Bible Perspective. And by all means, if you have a thought or comment, I would love to see your opinions too. All right, till next time, I'll see you then.